My name is Allan Rwakakooko. I am the head of legal services at Umeme Ltd. It's an electricity distribution company in Uganda. It's actually the biggest electricity distribution company in Uganda. I head their legal section, and I run a team basically that takes care of the legal needs of the company. I'm based in Uganda, in Kampala, and well, that's where I've studied and worked most of my adult life. I really like sport. Played rugby when I was younger, played basketball as well. Now I'm more of a spectator, though I try to keep in shape. It's a very interesting, sport is very interesting to me because apart from the physical part of it, it teaches me strategy, teamwork, helps me do a lot of work that deals with people. I use a lot of sports analogy when I'm in the office, and anything from rugby and basketball, you'll find me paying attention. So recently, after realizing I don't play as well, my nephews who used to idolize me now can run rings around me. I just talk a lot more than I play, but I switched to a spin class and going to the gym, so I try to keep in shape. It's very necessary, especially in our field. Lawyers need to keep in shape, otherwise we'll get stressed a lot. So yeah, so outside that, I'll probably be doing something sporty. I think part of the vision for ACGC is really my experience with ACGC. I found out about it, before it became very global, a regional force. What I like about ACGC is the fact that it gives a voice to in-house counsel and government counsel. It allows us to be heard, provides a platform where we can share knowledge. I have had a lot of positive effect. I've met very interesting people. I realize that most in-house counsel have the same problems, really, same challenges, same goal, regardless of the country they're in. We're all trying to do something for our employers. We're trying to protect them. We're trying to help them grow. So in Uganda, most of the lawyers are looked at from the point of view of legal practice within a law firm, which is external counsel. And I found that ACGC gives a voice to in-house counsel who are mostly, I can't say marginalized, because we've been growing and in number. But it also gives us an opportunity to do more than just the court work. Where someone once told me, you make a name, you make a fortune doing commercial work, but you make a name in court. So it gives us an opportunity to make a name for ourselves in the in-house function, though of course now we even go to court as well. It also gives us an opportunity to show the value of the in-house counsel to the business and to different aspects of our society. So I believe that ACGC is a community of people who are like-minded and who are growing the in-house counsel role and the government counsel role. It gives us a voice, gives us a platform, gives us an opportunity to share, allows us to network and improve. I've learned a lot from ACGC. I've met some very interesting people, and I've found that there are not too many communities, especially in Uganda, where the in-house counsel voice can be heard. I'm very happy that one, I got to meet and participate quite a number of people in ACGC, participate in the events rather, and I've also found that being on the governing council gives me an opportunity to learn from the other members of the council, but also to share our experiences and help ACGC grow. It's a very always being the first is always a great thing. And being on the first governing council, of course, means that we get to provide a benchmark, something which we will look at in the future and know that we made a contribution to growth of the in-house council function, in our country and also internationally. I haven't had many opportunities to present at various stages in different countries. I've attended almost all of them, from Kampala to Rwanda to the one in Kigali last year to Nairobi, I think in 2020, and I'm looking forward to Ghana this year. It's something that actually has helped a lot with my career and my personal profile. It's interesting how many in-house counsel don't know how much power they have. I once heard a partner in the law firm, in his speaking, he once said, "Oh yeah, us guys in practice do this and that, and then you guys who are not in practice, in the legal practice, handle it a different way." I quickly corrected him. Thankfully, we were peers, and I told him, you need to take that back, because in-house counsel are actually very, very qualified lawyers who happen to just have one client. So it is very commonly said, and in some countries, in-house counsel actually do not have practice and certificates and don't go to court as much. So in the traditional legal practice, in-house counsel do not get the credit that they deserve. We find ourselves sort of holed up in a corner somewhere, with our heads down, doing some work that will be appreciated by one client. We'll work on a project together with external counsel, and you'll see external counsel getting into IFLR, but you're too busy to get any kind of recognition that is global. Yet you probably worked on the same project. We also find that when you're in an organization, you are seen as a cost center. In-house counsel are usually the last when it comes to budgets. When their budget cuts, the legal department takes a big hit. If you want to do some more human resource build-up, you probably will have a bit more trouble getting more people in. Also, in terms of technology, it's only recently that we've seen legal tech being deployed by companies or our employers allowing to invest in legal technology. I'll compare us to accountants, for instance. Accountants have always had software helping them do their work. The legal teams are usually asked to develop their own with whatever they have. If it comes to training, the lawyers are always assumed to know everything. I think it comes from our training where we're told never say you don't know. So when you come and say, I want to build skills in this area, your employer will say, no, just go to YouTube, you'll learn this stuff, you probably already know it. So the one challenge we have is a resourcing challenge, which comes from being seen as a cost center. And then we also have an identity challenge. For our employers, you're seen as a lawyer who does work for the company. If you're working with external counsel, your relationship will be a little bit different. The external counsel will see you as the client. So you're stuck in the middle. You have some legal ideas, and your employer might see you as someone who works in the legal department, but they'll probably listen to external counsel before they listen to you. And being specialized, especially in-house counsel, you probably know your business a lot better than the lawyers you have. So the three issues we've seen are a resource issue, which comes from not being given enough resources, an identity issue, which comes from not knowing where you stand between the external counsel and your employer, and then an issue of our own brand and identity. So ACGC, for me, seems to have taken care of all three issues. The first is, in terms of resources, it teaches you how to share ideas, share information, share knowledge. It has exposed us to quite a number of international and bigger organizations, much bigger than the ones in Uganda, where you can get to speak to your peers, like-minded in-house counsel, who will give you ideas, give you tips on how to do your work better. I've learned a lot in terms of things like case management, contract management, just from listening to how other people have handled their contracts. I've also been given access to a number of providers who can provide software, who can provide ideas, give the services that you need to make your work better. So in terms of resourcing, I've learned how to do a lot more to become more efficient through learning from other people who've been there before. It has also given me a platform where if your employer sees that you're very involved in an in-house counsel program, they will take it a bit more seriously, and they'll get the ideas that you're sharing, especially with examples from other jurisdictions, and they will provide resources that will make your work better. So I've learned how to make a case for myself, and also a case for the department in the deployment of legal technology, in the understanding of processes that govern our businesses in terms of how we handle our legal issues. I've also found that with a brand like ACGC, and especially after they came and had their conference in Uganda, the visibility you get from participating in events like this can open doors for you, not just because your employer now sees an organization that is visible, but also the fact that we're dealing with government counsel. So I met a few in-house counsel who work in government offices, and the networks I built through ACGC have helped me open doors for Umeme and our work through getting the contacts that you get, and when you go to speak to them, you say, oh yeah, I work with ACGC. There's some young lawyers who have also been mentored, and I keep getting calls to ask about community, how to build your community, how to grow, and it also helps us attract talent. Secondly, with regard to identity, the fact that you have a community means that you're not running this alone. You can actually contact a number of people in various fields. We figured out how many in-house departments are registered as chambers in Uganda, and we found that there are about 2,000 or so lawyers who work in-house. That is a constituency that cannot be ignored. So we found that it is much easier to get what you need to do your work in a more efficient way if people know that there are many of you forming a community that have the same needs. It also helps us identify ourselves as in-house counsel, describe and make a value proposition for how we do our work, and then we are actually heard if we come together as a community and make our tell people what we want, as opposed to everyone going it alone. So it's helped us sort of unite as in-house counsel in Uganda. It has also helped us get a platform. We have our WhatsApp group. We're very active. We get to share. And then now with our relationship with external counsel, they view us as potential clients. So when we have a bigger community, we can then speak to external counsel and tell them exactly how we expect them to relate with us. It provides for things like, one thing I use with the external counsel is whenever a case comes in, I ask them to do a viability assessment. Now, they will look at it from the point of view of the case. I will look at it from the point of view of how it will affect the company. So in some cases where you're just going to be the lawyer and fight all the way to a judgment, it might not help while in-house counsel is saying, no, for financial reasons, we probably need to settle this case, or we need to do a negotiation, go for mediation. And you're given a lot more respect because you're visible. So I've gotten some seniority and some experience. I am now given more audience because my profile grew when I started participating in ACGC, because I can easily call someone up from Nairobi and get an opinion in a way that I couldn't before we had community. I think the third thing when it comes to growth, brand build, we've had quite a bit, in the ACGC field when they write a lot. There's a lot of media. My in-house counsel live got a lot of attention. I was lucky to get an award last year. It gave us a lot more visibility, and it sort of empowers you to do more, but also encourages you to do a lot more work on the in-house counsel front. So it's very good for me personally. It's given me a platform. It also helps me speak to many more people. Many in-house counsel actually are quite introverted because they think they're only speaking to their one client. But it also helps you speak to a bigger group of people. So exposure, resources, and identity are three things that have grown a lot. And ACGC has really helped in that, especially for me. I would recommend that everybody finds community. You must find community in every aspect, even if it's your work or in your private life. And if you find a community, you'll always grow. And it's one of those truths that really doesn't really need to be explained too much. So ACGC gives us that opportunity to grow, the opportunity to learn more, and the opportunity to share and develop the right linkages and community generally. So quite a number of things I've learned in ACGC I've shared with the team at work, and also with the in-house council committee of our ULS and our communities in Uganda especially. So highly recommended, and I can't emphasize anymore how important communities like ACGC are.